Welcome to Series 7 of the Agility for All YouTube channel. In this series, you will get to hear from the entire team as we talk about the components of our new program designed to engage the right stakeholders at the right time to create programs and products that avoid delays, decrease risk, and deliver value. In this 6-part series, we will talk about everything from open spaces to curate ideas, Liftoff to successfully start Agile teams, and training to support your Agile goals. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you enjoy this series.
Hello, everyone. As I promised last week, I am not sitting here by myself this week. I am joined with Elvin from our team, who is not only a consultant with Agility for All, but is our certified Scrum trainer. And today, we are going to talk about Agile teams. So last week, we talked about Liftoff, which is making sure we know what the vision, the mission test, having that purpose, alignment, and context on what we are building, why we're building it, and when we're going to deliver it. But now we have to have a team to do this work. As part of the Liftoff, we talk about who do we need on the team, what values they bring to the team, and we talk about work agreements. But what we like to call all of this is the team charter, how people are going to work together. So Elvin, tell us a little bit about team charter.
Yeah, hello everyone. So good to be here again. So simply a team charter is a document that defines your team's goals, your assets and obstacles. So essentially, it's like a product roadmap, except it's for a single team, of course. And then its focus is only on their deliverables and how to best map out over time. So a team charter clearly defines the roles and responsibility of everyone involved. Sometimes it also has the purpose of the team. Why is this team formed? Like Indra was saying, the functionalities and everything of all the team members coming together. What is your purpose of the team? What are you looking forward to building together? And then what is your success measure? What do you measure as a team? What do you say is success for the team? Then you can also have like the names of the team members and their roles and responsibilities. That this one is not defined by, it's defined by whoever is in the role. So for example, if I'm the Scrum Master and Indra is the product owner in the team, Indra defines what her role is, I define what my role is, then everyone knows what each and everyone's roles and responsibilities are. Also on the team charter, you can have the team type and responsibilities like I've spoken about. You have your definition of done. So for a definition of done, you can simply have what are all the criteria that our work must meet to be accepted. Then you can also have your working agreement. How do we want to work together to create a positive and productive environment? So, and then the next thing you can also include will be your key stakeholders. So you're able to identify the people you go to, the people you talk to when it's really necessary. And then you can also have your team events. When, where, and for how long will your meetings be held? So every new person coming on the team knows, okay, well, they have meetings here, they have meetings this time, and this is how long it takes. So everyone is also able to schedule their time. And this, you can also have this through your calendars, like the team calendar, where you can have your sick and your sick leaves in the calendar. And then maybe one last thing would be distinctive competencies. What are we uniquely good at, and what can we help each other with? So each and everyone is able to identify their superpowers in the team, right? So for example, I mean, Indra is really good in product management, and I'm good in Scrum Mastery. So like everyone knows what each person is good at, and then you can also follow on the team. I mean, for me, and one of the philosophies in Agility for All is for learning and growing. I think this is what we always talk about. Indra has like tons of years of experience, but she's always like, let's learn and grow together. So it's also about who has the strength that you lack, and all of this would be included in your team charter. It's just like a template, an A4 sheet template, and you just divide them into these sections where you have your purpose, the success measure, the team members, your team types and responsibilities, definition of done, working agreements, key interactions, key stakeholders, distinctive competencies, team events. And then you can also add what you think is useful and vital to your team on the team charter. And I think Indra, there may be a lot of other templates we can share from our side. And even if you look online, you can get a lot of team charter templates for your team. So yeah, in a nutshell, maybe I spoke a lot, but in a nutshell, that's what a team charter is.
All right,
And
well, let's make
that's
that
the
a
purpose.
nutshell. Let's break it down to a nutshell. Basically, a team charter is everything your team needs to operate successfully. That's a team charter in one sentence. Everything your team needs to operate
That's good.
successfully. And I think a key element of this is it needs to be visible. You can't
Very
have
visible.
it in, you know, a document that's hidden away in a drawer or even in an online file that nobody reads. Have it up on the wall, or if you're working remotely, have a virtual whiteboard and keep it visible. The other thing I think we should point out to our listeners is it is not a one and done. It is a constantly evolving charter. So when we take everyone through Liftoff to define what the vision and the mission is to get the purpose, the context, and alignment, the team then has to work on their identity through this team charter to find out who they are, how they want to work together, how they're going to communicate, all the structures around what they're going to do. And that needs to be super visible so that everybody joining the team, whether it's just as a stakeholder for a short amount of time each week, or it's every day as a part of the team, everyone is clear on that identity of that team and how they're working together. And I think that is a critical element. So many people I see, they lead workshops and they take people through these activities and then it gets shoved away somewhere. It's almost like we tick the box. Okay, we did the Liftoff. Okay, we did the charter. We've got the work agreement. Okay, let's go build a product.
Yeah.
And they never think about it. If that was just we need to tick a box that we did some training, we wouldn't talk about it so much. But it is really essential to how a team works, because if not, you're kind of pulling the rug out from under the team and removing that safety net. So the team charter creates a safety net because everybody has the same understanding and everyone has had the same opportunity to participate in creating that charter and in defining. And like you said, you made a good point. I'm not telling you what your role is and how you're going to do it. You're sharing with the group how you like to work, how you show up for the different events and things that need to be done for the product. And that's one of the things that we like to do with the Liftoff as well when we're describing the team, is we have an activity where you show the team who you get to say, who am I?
Yeah.
And you talk about your work styles or things that could prevent you from working. And all of that comes together. Everybody gets to come into the mix and share their experiences and how they can be successful, so that together the whole team can define success for them. And you touched on that. It's about how do we create success? But everyone gets to participate. This isn't the corporate handbook. You know, we're not, you know, they hand you the corporate handbook on day one. And I'm shocked if 5% of the companies ever read the corporate handbook, right? It's just you shove it in the drawer. Right. You might have to open it if you don't know how to make a health claim or something, but the handbook goes in the drawer and nobody reads it. The team charter is living, breathing, essential to the team and is constantly revisited. All right. So that
maybe
is
one thing.
Go ahead.
Maybe just one thing to think about it would be like, think of it like as part of your information radiators in the team. Just don't leave it. Like, it has to be alive. It has to be so visible that everyone is able to see it, but it's for the team. But everyone outside the team can also be able to see this. Maybe something just to add to it.
Transparency. Everyone inside the team needs to have an understanding of how they want to work together and agree on that. And everybody outside the team needs to be able to see, oh, this is how they're working. And this is why they're not available at 9 o'clock on Thursdays. And you know, this is what's happening. So it brings that transparency inside the team and outside the team as well. However, we just made it sound very idyllic and everything is perfect. And we've got roses and flowers and sunshine and it's all amazing if we do this charter. But you and I both know that sometimes things go wrong. And sometimes people get a little bit out of whack with how they're working together, or things aren't getting finished. The definition of done is sort of wavering a bit. And Sometimes we're pushing things through that really don't meet the definition of done, or we're not getting anything done because we never meet the definition of done, and things start to wobble a bit. So you can do an amazing start with your Liftoff and your team charter, and you can work on building that presence, but things do go wrong. So what do we do when they go wrong? What's something that you've done, Elvin, with a team when you've seen things starting to go a bit off?
Yeah, so I think it's all about communication and identifying the urgency to tackle that as an issue, and just think of it like, if this problem is not solved, just like any code base, if not solved, the entire product is going to collapse. So just think of problems. Don't just shove the problems off. In as much as I always say to people, like, Scrum Masters are like taking care of the people in the team, and that the people in the team are able to take care of the product. So you as an Agile practitioner or an Agile coach or even a product owner should be able to have this in mind, that if any part of the people's how do I say this? If any part of the people's motivation or any part of the people's aspect is falling down, you have to like be able to identify it and find a way to do it. So like I'm saying, it's all about communication and identifying this and making it known that this is really urgent. I know a lot of people are like, well, we have a lot of meetings, I don't want to be involved in this meeting. But you just have to let them know this is the purpose of the meeting, this is the agenda for the meeting, and it's important for everyone to be in there. So for me, the first step would be for the first step to solve any team problem is through communication, but also how you also do it would also motivate people to join you or tell people not to join you. So it's all about your communication skills and how you tell people not to, hey, we have to do this right now. If you don't join, you're not part of the team. It's all about letting them know why they have to be there. So it's more like, what's in it for me? This is something we always like bring up in agility for most of our meetings, right? It's all about letting the people know what they get from the meeting or from solving that particular issue. And I think it's like a great start. There's no one way to do it, but I think ideally it's through better communication and letting everyone know what's in there for them if they join this communication process or to solve the problem.
Yeah, there's never one way to solve a problem, but if the communication is not there, you will never solve any problems. And people need to feel safe to speak up when something isn't working. So the Scrum Master is there as, we say servant leader to be there to support the team. And the team needs to be able, like you said, to support the product, and they all have to support each other, but it doesn't fall in as it would in a typical management structure. It doesn't fall on one person to A, identify that there's a problem, and B, solve the problem. It's up to everybody. So here's an example. And for those of you listening, everybody always laughs at me because I always have a story for everything. And of course I have a story. Alvin knows I have a story. Yes. So I always have a story. That's because I'm old and I've listened to a lot of things.
You have a lot of experience.
A team that I worked with had a communication plan that included how they were going to use email versus Slack versus other modes of communication, comments and whatnot. And within Slack, they had different channels that they used. So the developers had their own channel so they could do their geeky talk and nobody had to listen to it but them. And the support team had their own channel so that they could bounce information back and forth about tickets and so on and so forth. And then the team had a channel that they all used. And the rule was that that channel was just for quick messages that the whole team needed to know. For example, I'm stepping away for 30 minutes. Let everybody know where I'm going to be. Or has anybody else had this problem today, kind of thing. Just quick check-ins. So one day, one of the team members had a family emergency and he posted in the chat, back in 30 minutes. When he came back, he said, oh my gosh, what happened while I was gone? I was only gone 30 minutes. And I'm like, that's funny. Nobody told me anything happened. What's he talking about? Yeah. Well, what happened was while he was gone for that 30 minutes, there were 78 messages in the team chat. And he came back and he's like, guys, no, seriously, is a server down? Like, something critical? Can somebody catch me up? And everybody's like, no, there's nothing wrong. Why? What are you going on about? And he mentioned that there were 78 messages. Well, then he said, well, if there's nothing going on, why are there so many messages? Because I don't have time to read 78 messages to catch up on what's happening. I'm going to lose another hour trying to unravel. And if there's nothing wrong, that's not a good use of my time. And then somebody fessed up and said, oh, I think that's my fault. I got down a rabbit hole looking at some code and we just got in this big conversation. And the original person said, okay, but that's not what we agreed we were going to use Slack to do. That's not a good use of Slack. And the person who started the cavalcade of messages said, you're right, that's on me, you know, and the team said, okay, can we just have a reminder of our work agreement?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The work agreement is we only use Slack for XYZ.
Yeah.
If the person worked in an adversarial environment, they wouldn't have felt safe to speak up and say, hey guys, this isn't what we agreed.
Yeah.
And he likely would have also wasted that hour going back and reading all those messages for fear that he missed something. So by having that open communication, not only how are we going to work, but wait, red flag, it's not working.
Yeah.
They were able to quickly resolve the problem. Now, the answer may have been, we like using Slack for this, so let's change our work agreement.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened did not meet the current work agreement. So they had to have that. And it was a very quick conversation, 1 or 2 minutes out of everybody's time. No need to call a meeting, you know, not a big deal. But that communication and the safety to operate.
So psychological safety
is absolutely critical. So like we said, things are going to go wrong. They aren't going to be perfect. But if you have that structure in place, you have a support system for when it does go wrong on how to fix it. And that's where your coach comes into play to help you navigate that. Because sometimes things are going to, you know, there are going to be miscommunications or misunderstandings and feelings are going to be hurt, or people are going to be feeling very down because maybe they're not meeting goals or something's happening. So that's when a coach can help people navigate that kind of murky water of what's happening with our team. But as I tell people in closing, I measure the success of a team by how they fail and recover from it.
Yeah.
So everybody can do things right, but people are going to do things the wrong way. It's how you get back up from it that really defines a team being a team. Because if everybody comes together instead of, you know, pointing fingers, they've really crossed that threshold into being a team. And I think that's what's important, and that they work towards that. And that doesn't happen from taking a class or reading a book or, you know, just attending daily Scrum. That comes from the team working together over time and building that relationship. So I mentioned Scrum training, so I think that's a good segue into next week, where you are going to be talking with Kofi about Scrum training and Scrum certifications and what that's all about and how important it is. So that'll be next week. We're going to sign off for today and get on with our day and the things that we need to do. And we will see everybody back here next week.
Thank you for listening to episode 4 of Series 7, where we talked about how to create an Agile team. Next week, our certified Scrum trainer will be joining us to talk about why the training is more important than the exam. And as always, subscribe to the Agility for All YouTube channel to receive notifications of new episodes, and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn at agility_for_all.